Hey Dreamers, thank you so much for calling in for our Q1 2017 90-day sprint webinar. My name is Lauren and I am super excited just to kind of go through a brief presentation for you on really how to set yourself up for success and what the 90-day game plan is all about, and really the best way to make sure that you reach your goals and excel over the next 12 weeks. So the very first thing I would love to just kind of share with you is that I have built my entire business through these 90-day action plans. And just recently I heard Lynn Hagedorn say something that I thought was phenomenal, and that through building your Isogenics business, consistency is so important. And you have to choose the pace that works for you, or the consistency that you can run at for the long haul. And through that journey, you may switch from the fast lane to the middle lane to the slow lane, right? And then back to the fast lane and maybe to the slow lane, but you never exit off the highway. And I was in the fast lane last year from about October of 2016 until June of 2016, right? Like, did not even for the slightest bit take my foot off the gas. And that's how I qualified for President's Quest. That's when I went 5-star. We had so many rank advancements, but I will be super honest and transparent that the last 3 to 5 months, I've been in the middle lane or sometimes the slow lane. And right now I'm ready to be back in the fast lane. And all of you are on here because you're ready to be in the fast lane, right? And so for 12 weeks, for 90 days, it's like, what sacrifices are you willing to make? How hard are you willing to work? What is it that you're willing to do to really change the trajectory of your life? And we're going to go through the PowerPoint, but I just want you to get clear on what's possible. So many things happen in 90 days. So many things happen in 12 weeks, right? And it's such a powerful time. But to really get excited about what you're setting yourself up for, why it's important to you, and why you want to do it. And I think in the very beginning, in 2014, after I went to my first NYKO in Dallas, this was in January of 2014, the first time we did our 90-day game plan, that's when we won the ISA Derby. And I watched my sister and Heather, go Crystal Director, and Nicole Bright go Crystal Director, and Melissa Wimbush go Crystal Director. And it was like, boom, 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 boom. We all were rank advancing, I went 2-star in a couple months of building with the company because we were laser focused, And over the 90-day game plans, I've seen Rachel rank advance, and Keitha rank advance, and Megan Sweeney, and Laura, and Jen Fichter, and so many people, Kristen Burgess, Melanie Quinlan. And I want you guys just to think about, how bad do you want it, right? Like, how bad do you really want it? I can't want it more for you, right? I cannot beg people to get on these calls. I can't beg people to make sacrifices. I cannot teach you burning desire. So what's inside of you, right? That's up to you. I can teach you how to connect. I can teach you how to do a three-way call. I can teach you to have a party. I can teach you how to connect, how to overcome objections. But burning desire is not teachable. You either have it or you don't. So make a decision, make the commitment that you want something so bad. You want to make a change so bad. You're working so hard for something that burning desire, that flame ignited in you, that is making you get on this call today, is something that is going to fuel you for the next 12 weeks. Does that sound good so far? Awesome. Okay, so before I go in and actually share the screen and dive into the PowerPoint, I actually would love just to hear from a couple of you guys, because I think it's so important that I've done it, on really what the 90-day game plan is all about. So Laura, if you wouldn't mind, will you just unmute in just 30 or 60 seconds, kind of talk about what's happened in your business, the times that you've commit to a 90-day game plan? Yeah. She's like confirming that I'm talking about her.
Yeah, because I'm in a car full of people. The fastest way to grow this is to do it as a team, all moving in the same direction. So if you're the only one working towards this, it doesn't work the same as when you're a whole team of people working towards your goals together. And that's what this 90-day action plan does. It puts us all together working in the same direction, and it'll just propel you and your goals and everything that you want for your business when you commit and you jump in and you do it. And every single time I've rank advanced. So it's been awesome. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Lauren.
Lauren, you're muted.
Right. Yep, I did. Sorry. I just want to remind you guys too, before we jump into the presentation, that if you're on your phone, it's going to be really hard for you to follow because you're not going to be able to see the slides, I don't think. So if you have the opportunity to get onto the computer, you want to go ahead and do that. So I actually am just going to ask two other people to hop out before we get into the presentation. So Jen and Adam, I would love for you two to just briefly 30 or 60 seconds kind of talk about what's happened in your business during times that you've committed to a 90-day game plan.
Okay. Sorry, I hope we're fine.
You're good.
We're on the phone, so,
yeah, so
we're trying to get the computer set up.
When I first started, we kind of branded Crystal Exec, and then I remember Lauren saying, you have to try to rank advance to 1 star, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's never going to happen. And I got back from celebration, and Adam wasn't building yet, but he was full-time with the kids when I was doing this and working, and I literally just tried to gather as many people together and just try to be like-minded, get on the calls, everybody rank advance together. And it happened at the end of October. So that 90-day game plan was huge. And then once Adam joined the business with me at NYKO last year, we were able to rank advance to 2 stars. So it's just really trying to get every single person in action and not doing it by yourself, because Lauren even says you can get to 1 2-star by yourself. I don't even think I could get to 1 and 2-star by myself. So we're definitely not moving ahead anymore until we get every single person to work together and lift up together. Yeah,
and I think Eric Worre said it best at Celebration, where he said, like an airplane, you kind of have to have that push where you take off and then you can coast, but there's got to be that initial push. Otherwise, you never get off the ground. So 90 days, and he always said it, a couple 90-day sprints have changed the businesses of like all the millionaires in this company. So this is our time to have that push.
I love it. That's such a good analogy. I actually had forgotten about that and that momentum that you needed to really get off the runway. Okay, and you guys, she's unable to turn on her video, but we did just talk before I open up this call. And for those of you that don't know Janie Elo, she is a millionaire in the company. Currently, she's the woman of Isogenics. She's my mentor. I mean, we were on President's Quest, and 6 of the 8 winners were in her downline. So if there is anybody that understands how to rank advance people and how to do this business, it's Janie. And so would you mind, Janie, just kind of helping out and talking just briefly about the importance of the 90-day game plan and what you've seen over the years and success of your team for those that have committed?
Absolutely, Lauren. Thanks so much. And you guys, it's exactly what Laura and Jen and Adam just talked about. It's really just getting focused, and it's creating that burning desire inside of you. And I was talking to a couple of leaders over the weekend, and that to me is really the it factor. It's burning desire. So if you really have the desire to move your business ahead and really push, the company's laid it all out. I mean, every person that we've talked about, or that is actually in my business, Tanya Kirkpatrick, Kelly Dickerhoof, Kayla Kraft, Jess and Lauren, Trudy Maples. I mean, they're just, all of these girls, they're doing a 90-day push, and they're breaking it down into 30-day sprints so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. So I would just say, I mean, for my bit, just looking back on my business, when I have had those huge areas of growth and where I've been able to rank advance, not only is it just yourself and doing the push and doing all of the work, and it all comes down to recruiting, you guys. I mean, it's so important to be recruiting. And I talked to Kathy Coover the other day, and she just said, you've got to be teaching your team to get back to the basics and back to recruiting. So, I mean, though it's not only pushing yourself to do the work, but it's also lifting others and bringing them right along with you. And that's where the joy and that's where the excitement and the fun of this business is seeing the success of others and having a part in that is huge. So let's just all dial in. The company has it laid out for us perfectly. Let's really use the synergy and energy of all of us, that are going to be ready for this together and really have some fun with it.
Thank you, Janie. And that part too, when you see the success of others, that is the best part. And you'll see over the 90-day game plan, we're going to do some blitz weeks where we all dial in and rank events together. And I know last year, we had set a date, and it just so happened to be that when Pina Colada was released. And to this day, I'm like, I love Pina Colada. I mean, it was so fun. But in like a 24 to 36 hour time period, which, was the biggest week that I'd ever had in my business, it was like the whole team was rank advancing. It's like everything that you do, the mastering of the mundane, and day in and day out of calling people and following up with people and dealing with the objections and doing your personal development, having your intentions. It's like all of a sudden there's this compound effect. And it was like Kisa and Laura and my sister and Megan and Jen. And it was like boom, 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 boom. We had all these people hitting 5-cycle bonus, hitting the 1-star bonus, going manager, going director, going executive, 2-star, 3-star. And it was just incredible. And I'm so excited to see that again with us over the next 3 30-day sprints. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to hop into the presentation, and I hope you guys stick it through the end, because then I am for sure going to announce the contest that I'm going to do in February and that I'm doing at the end of the 90-day game plan. Sound good? And I will tell you, I've been working with Denise Wiggins. Some of you guys know her all morning, and just put the deposit down on the resort, so there is no turning back. So stay tuned to the end. Let me just do the share screen. Adam or Jen, would you be so kind to just unmute and tell me what this looks like on your end?
Yeah, it looks good. 90-day sprint, Dreamers in Action.
Okay, you don't see like my Facebook or email or anything else, just the PowerPoint?
No, just that picture from you last night. Wow, that's, you're very limber.
She's such a nutwagon, you guys. Okay, so if you guys are distracted by the little like boxes of faces, up at the top right, you can actually minimize if you don't want to see the gallery or the chat. If it doesn't bother you, you can leave and, kind of see, who's ever on the call. But the very first thing as we go into this 90-day sprint is like, just thinking about this. Think big, dream big, believe big, and the results will be big. I remember when I first started doing this in the 90-day game plan, going through what was I willing to give up. And Janny having me make my first vision board, and Janny, they're really having me think about what would it be like to go part-time in some of my jobs or to pay off a credit card that I had. And it was like, that will never happen. That will never happen, right? And it has to do with first working on your mindset, like believing that it will happen and being open to what it is you're working for, right? And so it starts really with just thinking big, dreaming big, believing big. Like I can promise you the people on the call right now, there were times that they didn't think it was going to happen, but they took the risk. And now that it's happened, that their dreamer is getting stronger, their belief system is getting bigger because they know what happens when they do the work. If you are not at NYKO, you guys download the 90-day action plan. So you can go, like literally just Google Isagenix 90-day action plan. It's a PDF, print it off, fill it out, put it into a folder, get it bound at Kinko's, whatever you have to do. But you want to live, breathe, sleep, eat, carry the 90-day action plan with you everywhere you go. Like my very first one had like ripped pages, coffee stains on it because I went everywhere. I was focused on my why. I was focused on my goals. I knew my schedule, my income producing activities. But you want this with you everywhere you go. You just want to be rock solid on what you're working on and to have it in the forefront of the mind. So the very first thing that I want to chat with you guys about is your why. If you don't know why you do what you do, you're not going to move because you're always going to be frozen by short-term distractions. You're going to be frozen by fear. You are not going to get into action. You are not going to move if you don't know why you do what you do. So when you think about this for a second, like what is it that excites you most, right? What is it that excites you now? What is it that excites your team members? What excites everybody as a whole, right? And understand this journey of the why is going to be different. My first 90-day game plan, you guys, it was 100% survival mode. For those of you that know my story, I was at rock bottom and all I was committed on was rebuilding my life. I wanted to furnish my house. I wanted to not have to work 80 hours a week. I was willing to do whatever it took to get myself out of rock bottom, right? In the next 90-day game plan, I saw what this was about, right? And I wanted to help other people. And I wanted to take the skill set that I was learning and help as many people as I could. The next 90-day game plan, my sister and I locked arms and we were committed to retiring our dad early. There was different reasons of where this journey has gone, but you have to know why you do what you do. And whether you're working for a pair of Prada sunglasses, a Louis Vuitton bag, you want to pay off a student loan, you need to have date money, you don't want to be driving Lyft or Uber as a second job, it doesn't matter, but it has to be within inside of you. There has to be something that says, I want to call 10 people on Saturday night instead of going out with my friends and family and partying, right? I want to call 10 people instead of watching a football game. I want to have a launch party instead of going to happy hour. Like if you don't know why you do what you do, and maybe it's because you love this so much and you want to help a lot of other people, maybe it's because you've never gone on a vacation with your family and you want to be able to go on vacation with your family. It doesn't matter. There's no judgment, but it has to come within and it has to be something that really truly fuels that burning desire. The only difference sometimes of the people that get into action and the people that don't is if your why is not big enough. You know, and if you're sitting here saying, well, I don't really have a why, or I don't know what my why is, don't complicate it. Close your eyes for 30 seconds and just say, what do I want most right now? And whatever pops in your head, that's it. There's no judgment. You know, we hear about some people that want to raise foster kids, and that's great. That's amazing. But if that's not the calling on your life, and you're like, man, I just want to be able to get gas in my car and not stress about going negative in my checking account, like, that's okay. You know, if you close your eyes and say, man, I want to be able to just go out and buy some Lululemon at the end of the 90-day game plan, it's okay. Right? But you have to know why you do what you do and be willing to share that with people if you want them to follow you. So the next part of this is the vision. If you don't have a roadmap in your mind of where you're going, it's like being a boat in an ocean just circling around with no direction, you know? So if you've ever listened to The Strangest Secret, they talk about that, like, your vision is your roadmap, you know? That's the way that you put a cruise ship together, and you're really directing this of where you want to go. And so I'm a huge fan of vision boards, but I also want you guys to spend some time and break this down. Where do you want to be in 30 days? Where do you want to be in 60 days? Where do you want to be in 90 days? So let's just say you're someone that's like, I'm going crystal executive in the 90-day game plan, right? In 30 days, you've got to be a third of the way there. Will you have 3 or 4 consultants? What does that start to look like? If you are someone who's saving up, let's say you're taking your family on a trip and you want $5,000 in the next 12 weeks, right? That means you've got to have at least $1,500 or $2,000 in the first 30 days. You have to start planning out, where are you going? So, you know, I remember the first time Janie wanted me to make a vision board, and I was like, you want me to cut some magazines out, like pieces of, you know, magazines, and put them on a poster board? And she was like, yes, you know, and she was telling me, what you focus on, you find, and what you focus on grows. And I was like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done, you know? And I did one, and I'll tell you, there was a blank check I got from my very first ICU. And I went to that in November, and it was like, what is the amount of money you want to make by the end of the year? And I will never, ever forget this, but it came within pennies of that amount, right? And I remember, like, taking a picture and sending it to Janie, and I was like, holy moly, like, what the heck just happened? And she was like, I told you. And so I was like, fine, I'll make another one, right? And I was like, there's no way that this is hogwash. This is really not going to happen. And things kept coming true, you know? And I think about all the vision boards I've made, and whether they got me to 3-star or 4-star or 5-star, got me to President's Quest, or got me to Top Achievers, or, you know, paid off this debt, or whatever it may be, it's like, it's so clear, and it drives you, and you start to open up your subconscious, you guys. I mean, there's so much happening subconsciously that we're not even aware of. But when you look at that and you start to embrace it, you start to make decisions, you start to open up, you start to be drawn in a way that you're doing things differently when you don't even know why you are, but because you're so clear on where you're going. You will speak differently, you will spend it differently, you will save differently, you will be open up to new things. But that's like, you've got to see what you're doing. So, I mean, one of the things, like, Susan Sly always talks about is, like, if you want to get to 50 cycles and you're at 10, like, you have to sit there and, like, literally visualize 50 cycles. And you have to bring that in. You have to manifest that. You have to be willing to see what that's going to look like. You know, some people will say treating your business 2 levels bigger than it is. If you have, you know, 10-cent money habits right now, don't expect to have $1 million business. You have to get organized. You have to be clear. You have to be willing to see what that next step is. So if you're someone that's like, okay, I'm going 1-star crystal executive, right? I mean, you visualize that tree every single day. Who are your 5 consultants on the left? Who are the 5 consultants on the right? How many people are you going to help? How many 3-way calls are you going to have to do that? How many launch parties are you going to have? Like, just be so clear on where you're going. If you're trying to take your family to Disneyland, I mean, that's something you got to sit down. You have to see it. Like, picture your whole family in line for Magic Mountain. You know, if you're trying to pay off a credit card, imagine you have to sit there and literally visualize that credit card balance coming in with a 0 balance, right? Like, 0 balance, like you paid it off. Whatever it is, you have to be so clear on it. If you're wishy-washy on your vision, you can't go that way. This is your brain's roadmap to where you are going, and it's your journey. It's not mine. It's not Laura's. It's not Jen's. It's not Lisa's, right? It's your vision. So one of the things that I really, really love is to think about the team vision, right? So we all have something inside of us that burns independently. We all have our own goals, our own dreams. But this is something that I'm really passionate about, and it's helping people thrive, not simply survive, provided by the evolved economy. You guys, when you understand network marketing and what we're able to do and the freedom and the fulfillment that comes with this, it really does allow people to thrive, not just survive. right? I mean, what is it that ignites you every single day? Why are you so passionate? Why do you get on team calls? Why do you do launch parties? Why do you want to help people? Because there's some joy in your life. There's some excitement. There's something that has shifted physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever it may be. And it's up to us to share that with other people. You know, when I tell people what I do, but I'm always talking about the team, right? I'm like, I want you to be a part of this culture. I want you to be a part of this movement. You know, we're setting families free. We're getting you healthy. We're getting you to your physical goals, right? We're doing things together. I mean, anybody who is in San Antonio, there were some moments in that event that was magical. Our team dinner was magical, right? And it's up to us to embrace that and share it with other people so that more people want to be a part of this and more people can thrive, not just survive. We've all been there where we're just getting by. And there's so much more to life than just getting by. So when you're thinking about setting yourself up for success, the first thing you have to do is eliminate distractions, right? Like, what is it that you're willing to stop doing? Sometimes you guys have heard me reference the law of sacrifice, and a lot of people think that sacrifice is about how hard you're willing to work or what it is you're willing to do, when in theory, sacrifice is what are you willing to give up. And my very first 90-day game plan, it seems so silly, but I remember giving up fantasy football. Like, I played and I was really competitive, I was really good at it, and it was consuming so much of my time. You guys, this is a true story, but Jessica Rigner, who's a good friend and my running mate in this, she's a reader by choice. Like, she really, really loves to read. And there was a time her business was in momentum and she was exhausted. And she was like, oh my gosh, Janie, I just want to read a book. And Janie was like, read a book in 2 years, you know, because like Adam said, we were trying to get that plane off the runway. Like, what is it you're willing to do? So maybe you stop gossiping. You know, think about how much of your time is talking about things that don't serve you, that don't serve others. How much of your time is scrolling through Facebook without it being income producing, watching TV, you know, procrastinating. If you're reorganizing your closets and pantries and shelves all the time, you're like, I'm going to call 3 people. I'm going to rearrange the spice racket, right? Like, whatever's happening, like, you have to decide what is it that you're willing to eliminate. And I used to have written across my mirror, are these decisions getting you closer to or further away from your goals? You know, and that can manifest in a lot of different ways, but it's in the forefront of your mind. So if I think like, oh my gosh, I want to call 10 people tonight, and they're like, hey, we're going to sushi, right? Is going to sushi getting me closer to or further away from my goals? Susan Sly did a podcast at the beginning of the year, and she said, if you were to do nothing differently right now, if everything you were doing the exact same way in your health, in your wealth, and in your relationships, right? If you changed nothing about your health, about your finances, or about your relationships, where will you be in 5 years? And think about that. And then think about the people you're hanging out with. Is their life going to be different in 5 years, or are they working towards making changes, right? So part of that, when you say, I will stop, it's you saying, I have to do something differently if I want to change the trajectory of where I'm going. So what will you start doing, right? Maybe some of you have to become a product of the product, right? You can't be in a health and wellness company and not be healthy, not be fit, not be energized. It doesn't mean you're a size 2, but it doesn't mean you're sluggish. It doesn't mean you're getting sick all the time. It doesn't mean you're eating junk food. It doesn't mean you're lazy, right? You cannot preach a product of the product if you are not feeling, breathing, eating, you know, igniting that. Maybe you're reading more. Maybe you have to work on yourself. Maybe you're listening to more podcasts. Maybe you are getting organized, using a planner, focusing on follow-up, getting to more events. What is it that you are willing to start doing that you're not? Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and trying to get a different result. So maybe this is a time you say, okay, I'm going to start a newsletter. Okay, I'm going to do more welcome calls. I'm going to commit to a weekly meeting. What is it you're willing to do in 12 weeks because you're trying to get that plane off the runway? And then get your business set, right? Like, focus on recognition. Think about running with 2 people 10 levels deep. Maybe it's just about being consistent. There's so many people that are in, out, in, out, in, out, right? It's just that consistency. And like Lynn Hagedorn says, you can go from the fast lane to the slow lane or the middle lane, but you never exit, right? Some feel like, I'm really going to do this, right? 4 days later, they're starting over. 3 days later, they're starting over. A month later, they're starting over. You have 12 weeks, right? You have 90 days. It's such a short time period in the grand scheme of things, but it's staying laser focused. It's every single day knowing exactly why you do and what you do. So let's break this down, you guys. How much time do you really have? Are you doing this full-time or are you doing this part-time? Regardless, you have to set your business hours. Set your goals accordingly. If you're doing this full-time, I mean, is it unrealistic to enroll 20 people in the first 6 weeks? No. You absolutely can do that. And if it's part-time, it's 10. Set those goals for yourself, right? If you're doing it full-time, rank advance 5 people to consultant in 6 weeks. Part-time, maybe it's 2 to 3. If you're doing this full-time, truly, truly full-time, then work 40 hours a week. A lot of us on Isogenics, one of the reasons we do this, because the freedom and the fulfillment, we don't have to work 40 hours a week. We're not working an 8 to 5. We're not working a 9 to 6, right? And that's awesome. But saying, you know what? I'm doing something different in 12 weeks. I'm changing my financial blueprint. I'm helping more people. I'm getting to the next level and say, you know what? For 90 days, I'm going to put in some 40-hour work weeks. I think when I used to work 80 to 100 hours a week, I don't do that now. Imagine if I put all of that work ethic into just Isogenics, into all of these people, what could happen? If you're doing it part-time, maybe it's 10 hours a week. It's 2 hours, 5 days a week, right? Maybe an hour in the morning, an hour at night. You know, maybe you're doing, 3.5 hours, 3 days a week. You have to decide your schedule, but block out your business hours and commit to it. I mean, just if you had a part-time job, let's just say that your full-time job is a receptionist and then you waited tables a couple nights a week. When you went into that job, that's all you would do for those hours. So go into your office or sit in the closet or, put in your car in the garage where it's quiet, whatever you have to do. But when you are doing those 10 hours, don't be busy. Make sure you're income producing. So some of the things that I think are super, super important is that you're working on branding yourself. Right? Like, what's the message that you're trying to convey to the world and why you do this? What differentiates you from other people? How do you want people to feel when they land on your Facebook, right? Are you the same person offline that you are online? What are you passionate about? What problems are you trying to solve? What is the value in your posts? So I want you to just think about this for a second. Like, if someone goes to my page, it should look different than Kisa's. If someone goes to my page, it should look different than Rachel's. It should look different than my mom's. It should look different from Janny's. Who are you? Coca-Cola has a different feeling than Pepsi, than Sprite. Walmart has a different feeling than Target. You want to be authentic. There is abundance for us, you guys. There's opportunity for every single person. So get clear on your niche. If you're really passionate about helping moms and single moms, then think about that message that you're trying to put out there. If you're really passionate about fitness and health, think about that message that you're putting out there. But every time you're using social media to build your business, be authentic. We can get ideas from other people, but I'm not the same person as Sarah, right? Sarah's not the same person as Lauren. Lauren's not the same person as Brooke, right? Like, all of us are different. So it's so important that you're passionate and then that you're adding value. When that person's talking just to talk and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, just stop talking for a little bit. Our social media can be the same way. So is there value in this? Who are you trying to reach? Is it benefiting anybody? Then you'll see that you're going to attract more people into your business because they trust you. Like, this is a true story. I went to Cycle Bar this morning and I ran into 2 people that knew me that I did not know them, right? But it was like, I didn't worry for 1 second what that relationship was going to be like, because exactly who I show up online is exactly who I am in person, And it was like one of those things. She'd see me check in, like she was talking to us, right? Blah, blah, blah. You have to be authentic. You have to be honest. And this is something that will shift your business over the next 90 days. Think about who you really, really, really want to run with and reach out to these people. So when you're setting the intentions for the board of directors, your leadership team, right? You decide the characteristics. What is it of the people that you really want to work with? Like, are they competitive? Are they fun? Are they organized? Are they hardworking? Are they honest? Do they love to help other people? Are they faith-based? Are they into fitness? Are they moms? This is up to you. But what you're going to see is, you're either going to meet people that you don't know yet, but you're going to see this list that's in your mindset that when you meet them, you can say, oh my gosh, like, that's the perfect person I'm meeting for. That is the person that I want to partner with. Or it's going to your team right now and saying, hey, I'm building a board of directors. I'm building a powerhouse team to really change the trajectory of my life in 12 weeks. And I thought about you. I want you to have a seat in my board of directors because you're fun. You're hardworking, you're organized, you have integrity, you love to help people. There's not anybody else I can imagine partnering with. I want you on my team, right? I mean, think about how that's going to make someone feel. Who's not going to want to run with you? So maybe it's people you haven't enrolled yet, or maybe it's people already in your business but setting the standards of the team culture that you're looking for, the work ethic, and what you guys can do together. Really, really get clear on that. And if you just got started and you're like, I don't have a team yet, that's okay. Then you manifest it, then you create it. Write down the ideal characteristics of the people you want to partner with. And then you start recruiting. Then you start saying, oh my gosh, I'm trying to create a team right now. And you have the characteristics of people I'm looking for. You're hardworking, you're organized, whatever it may be, but spend some time really, really setting the standard and getting clear on who you want to partner with. And remember, you choose. Don't be in the business of convincing people. Don't want it more for someone else than they want it for themselves. If you are trying to create something that is not inside of them, move on. The best advice that I can tell you in the last 3.5 years is if you feel like you are dragging people, you are. If you feel like you are convincing something to want something that they do not want for themselves, you are. This is different than building belief into others. So you absolutely can pour belief into them when they want it. If they go, can I really do this? Are you sure it can really happen? Yes, you can pour belief into them. People have to borrow your belief until they have their own. Jess and I used to question Janet all the time. Are you sure this is going to happen? Are you sure we're going to get to 20 cycles? Are you sure we're going to get to 50 cycles? Are you really sure that this is going to happen, right? And she would pour belief and pour grace into us, but she never had to motivate us. There's a difference of her pouring belief into us and having to motivate us. You cannot motivate people, right? You can be inspiring, but people have to be self-motivated. She knew we were always going to do calls. We were going to get to events. We were going to do our follow-ups, right? So when you're thinking about who you're partnering with, don't drag people. It's exhausting. And all of the time that you're trying to get someone to do this that is not going to do it, it's not their time or they don't want to do it, it's better off finding the people who are ready now. Do you guys get that? So when we think about the way to launch your 90-day game plan, just like Jenny said, it's recruiting. We know the numbers. Not everybody we enroll is going to go consultant or manager, surely not director and executive. We're a product-driven company. So 80 to 90% of the people that we bring in are just going to use the products. So if you're saying, I'm creating 10 consultants, I'm going executive, mark my words, you guys, you got to enroll a lot more than 10 people. A lot more than 10 people. So it starts with your memory jogger, right? Print this off. Start to make a list. If you don't have a list, you don't have a business. Your list should always be growing. Whether you meet someone at the grocery store, you meet someone at the gym, you meet a Lyft driver or an Uber driver, someone on Facebook, he reaches out to you, they like a post, you add them to the list, you're at the gym, a name pops in your head. You're constantly having a list. Then everybody does this a little bit different when they're organizing their business. Some people use, my Isogenics. Some people use contact managing systems. I'm a big fan of a notebook. I'm just old school, a piece of paper and pen. But I literally, you guys, this is my notebook. And, I have people's information. I write down their name, their number, their email, and something about them. So it's oh, Colleen, she was a Lyft driver. I sent her ISA movie in November. I followed up with her in December, January. She told me to reach out in March, right? And I keep these notes. So when someone on Facebook likes a post, I can add Adam liked your cycle bar post, right? And you're just building these relationships, but you have to have a list. And for me, I have a whiteboard where I am focused on the rank advancements. So my notebook is prospects and people I'm working on. And then my whiteboard, I have it who am I trying to enroll? Who's going consultant? Who's going manager? Who's going director? Executive 1-star, 2-star? Because let's just say I block out, I'm going to do my Isogenics business from 6 to 8. And the 4 or 5 people I thought I was going to call, let's say they don't answer. It's not oh, I'm off duty. Nobody answered the phone, right? You want to go into the next step. So I can look up and be oh my gosh, Alyssa's going for the 5-cycle bonus. I need to reach out to Alyssa and tell her what's happening. Or I'm oh my gosh, Lori's going manager. Let's figure out how close she is to manager. What do we need to do to get her to manager? And so it's just being really, really organized. Sometimes your whiteboard might have your map to Crystal Executive. Maybe it's the people you're focusing on rank advancing. Maybe it's who are you getting to the events. It's where you're focusing on your team. Have they enrolled in ISA Body? Are they in Healthy Mind and Body? What events are they going to? This business is not hard, you guys. You don't have to complicate it. You just need simple tools so that you know who you're connecting with, who you're following up with, and who you're rank advancing. Launch parties. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite things to do in the business, okay? So when I first got started, I remember saying, like, I'm not doing Tupperware parties. No way am I having a bunch of people over to my house and making them feel like they have to buy something. We've all been to that party, and you're like, right? But launch parties are a great way. You can be fun, you can be creative, you can share your stories. So many people want to see it, they want to feel it, they want to taste it, right? They want to know what it's all about. And you can put people together and share their stories. And whether you're doing this online, you're doing virtual parties or at-home parties, every single person in the 90-day game plan, every single person should do a minimum of 3 tasting parties, 1 a month. That's part-time. If you're doing this full-time, at least 2. When I first was building my business, you guys, October, November, December, every single Saturday, I would teach spin and I did a tasting party. I'd be like, come over, I'm going to make you shakes. And I was like all over Facebook, I was like, I'm going to sample bars, come over, see what I'm about. Sometimes I had no people. A lot of times I had 2 people. Every once in a while I'd have like 30 people. I'm like, where are you coming from? But you have to be willing to share your story. If you guys are 2-star, 3-star, 4-star in this business, then do them for your team, right? Help them, partner with them. You guys, it's an apprenticeship model. If you're telling your team, hey, go have a tasting party, they're not going to do it. But if you say, hey, I would love for you to have a tasting party, I'm going to help you do it. I'm going to help you with the Evite, right? I'm going to help you put up a display of product. I'll help you with the presentation. People will do it because they feel capable and empowered. And guess what? It's duplicative. Then they're going to do one and they're going to teach their team and their team and their team. So commit to it. 1 a month, 1 in February, 1 in March, 1 in April. And I love the creativity that we've seen over the years with this. I know that Christina and my sister did tacos and tequila. And they had a little taco party and did a little margarita thing, but they shared isogenics. I've seen sangria Sunday, mimosa Sunday. There's a new sweat and sip or something that people were doing a little workout and then sampling the products. But have fun with it. It doesn't have to just be Wellness Wednesday or Makeover Monday. You can get really creative with it and make it fun that your girlfriends or your friends want to get together. And whether you do mommy play dates or, Laura Stevens had a brilliant idea. She did those salad in a jar. So everybody brought an ingredient, everybody made it. And then she talked about isogenics and she showed her story, but there was a purpose to be there. Everybody left with their salad in a jar for the week, whatever it may be. But just remember that your job is not to be an expert, right? You don't have to be informational. You want to be inspirational. So welcome people when they come in. That's it, right? Greet them. Just be a host. Have, some hospitality. Have samples out. Some people would say don't sample shakes. Not everybody loved their first shake, right? But bars, delights, the whey thins, swamp water. Have some things that people can taste and chew and drink and eat and get their senses going. And it's you tell a product story. Have someone tell their 30-second, absolutely compliant product story. Play a product video. Have someone share a business testimonial, play a business video, and then you just do a call to action and you enroll. So if everybody came over and I'd have, all the food and drink out or whatever, and I would tell people my story, product testimonial, you can do the new video. Today is the day. Maybe you play Are You Toxic? Maybe you play Start Your Life. Whatever it is, and then you talk about the business. Because of isogenics, we're able to go out on dates. Because of isogenics, I have reduced my student loan. Because of isogenics, I don't work for Lyft anymore. Whatever it is, then play You Share, They Share. Play Start Your Life. Play Enterprising Women. And then just do a call to action. Who's ready to get started? We have 3 ways: the good, the better, and the best option. So a lot of people get stuck in their tracks here because they think they don't know enough or they're afraid nobody's going to come. Care more about what you're not doing for somebody else than yourself. Who cares if nobody comes? I worry more about not telling the story to enough people than if no one comes to my party. Guess what? If no one comes to my party, I blocked off 2 or 3 hours of time and I get on the phone, right? So just commit to doing a party. If you're doing the 90-day action plan, minimum of 3 over the next 12 weeks. One of the best skill sets that you can learn in isogenics is 3-way calls. So in the very, very beginning, you're going to watch. You're going to hear how other people can do it, right? And then there's going to be a point where you're setting up a 3-way call with an expert, but then it switches. You become the expert. So I remember in the summer, and Melanie Quinlan was really growing her business. I did a lot of calls for her. Kristen did a lot of calls for her. And all of a sudden I knew she had the skill set. And I was sending people to Melanie. I said, I think Melanie would be a great person to help you with a 3-way call. And she's messaging me. She goes, oh my gosh, someone just asked if I could help them with the 3-way call. And I said, I know. She's like, you really think I can do it? And I said, yes, You're awesome, right? And that's it again, that apprenticeship model. So it's like, I do, you watch, you do, I watch, and be willing to give feedback. And so in the very beginning, if Jen's like, I don't know how to do a 3-way call, maybe she listens to how I do one for Laura. And then she knows how to set it up. I do a couple calls for her, and then it switches. Then I want Jen to do them for me so I can give feedback. And sometimes, you guys, we have to let the training wheels go. And it's nervous because you're like, oh, I could just close this person if I just did it. That will stall your business. If you are stuck in control and do not let people grow, it will stall your business. You have to let people fail forward. And if Jen isn't ready and we don't close that person, it's okay. It's a learning experience. We fail forward because guess what? In weeks and months to come, she's going to be an expert, and then she can be able to help other people. So a lot of times I tell people, you know what? I'm going to do your first 3 calls for you. And after that, you got to step up. You have to get people to step up. So remember, if you're a leader in this team, if you're executive, if you're a 1-star, if you're a 2-star, do boiler rooms, have people come to your home or go to a coffee shop and get on the phones together so your brand new people are learning the verbiage, right? They're hearing what you're saying. They're hearing how to set it up. Or sometimes, I'll use the conference line. I'll be like, Lisa, Rachel, call in, just listen to this. And they're just on mute, but they're just hearing what you're saying. So they're learning the verbiage, they're learning the flow, and then you would lift them up. Right? Then you challenge them. Okay, who are you setting up 3-way calls this week? I want to hear you do it. So just remember that you cannot have growth and control at the same time. If your business is stuck and you're a leader, it's because you're doing it all, right? And by lifting other people up, by getting them to step up, by empowering them, you will have growth. And then it's duplicated because a lot of people say, I can't do what Lauren does. And that's okay. I might say, I can't do what Jessica does. I can't do what Tanya does. Some people say, I can't do what Jen and Adam do, but they go, oh, I can do Kristen, or I can do what Laura does, or I can do what Rachel does. It's finding those people that they relate to and that they mimic so that they can step up. Recognition is huge, you guys. Isagenix does such a good job of recognizing us, not only with compensation, but with gifts and so many things, but it's really, really, really important of your team. You would not be where you are. You can't get to where you're going without everybody else. And I remember Janny just spoiling the mess out of me. I was like, why are you always sending me stuff, But she validated all of my hard work and she supported me. So I personally, this is what I'll tell you I do for my team and my enrollments. You guys can choose what works for you. But every single person that gets enrolled gets a welcome call. I'm like, hi, it's Lauren. Welcome to the Dreamers in Action team. I'm so excited you're here. If there's anything I can help you. So it starts with welcome calls. When someone goes consultant, I send a note, right? It's a handwritten note. Congratulations, Haley. I'm so excited you went consultant. Way to, you share, get your product paid for. You're helping so many other people. I'm so excited to see where you're going to go with this. When someone goes manager, I give a book, right? I want them to have a gift, but I still want them to be excelling into the business. So sometimes I send 4 agreements. Sometimes I send Go Giver. Sometimes I send Go Pro. It's based on kind of what area I think they're working on in their business or their personal growth, but I send a book. When someone goes director, I send a small Lulu or a small bouquet of flowers. It's in that $50 range. And when someone goes executive or the next golden circle, I send a $100 range gift or $100 Lulu value. And I just remember being so spoiled, and it validated everything I was doing. It made me work harder because someone was appreciating what you're doing. When you look at your business and you see your cycles, whether you cycle 3 times a week, 5 times a week, you are not doing that alone. It is so important to pour love and grace into every single person in your team. If you don't do that, they're not going to keep working. But if they know that their efforts matter and you genuinely appreciate and have gratitude for what they're doing, they're going to stay engaged, right? So encourage your associates on the team, reward and celebrate them, help others, lock arms. And sometimes it's just pouring belief. Sometimes it's when someone calls you and they just need to talk because they're like, man, I called 10 people and I got 10 no's, and they're just feeling down, right? Sometimes it's not the point to give criticism. Sometimes it's not that point right there to try and figure out what they're doing wrong. Sometimes you just got to be like, you're crushing it. You called 10 people. That's awesome, right? The 11th call, the yes is right there. Let's get on the phone together. Let's call them together. I know you got this, right? Sometimes it's just that person that's reaching down on the other side of the wall, lifting them up and taking them to the other side. Just be in business to serve others. People have told me they don't like to help others. They don't like to talk to people. And I say, then get the heck out of network marketing. It is a relationship business. It will pay you incredibly well. That will offer more opportunity and dreams than you can imagine, but only as a reward for what you're willing to do and give for other people. So get out your calendars, right? What's the next event you're going to? We all just came back from New Year's kickoff. The next event I'm going to is ICU New Jersey. It's the last weekend in March. Maybe you're looking at a university in action, but events will blow up your business. So not only picking a date, but who is coming with you. Don't go to events by yourself, right? You've got to get other people there. You've got to get them corporate trained. They've got to see our corporate culture. So pick it, commit to it, and then get others with you. Start thinking about your daily plan. What are your income producing activities on a day-to-day basis? How many people are you calling? How many people are you telling the You Share story to? How many launch parties are you doing? How many people are you, giving a presentation to? Monthly, who are you rank advancing and what are your rank advancements? So start to think, we start on January 23rd. In the first 30 days, how many Crystal Managers are you creating? How many of you are hitting Crystal Manager again? Maybe you're already there and you're going Crystal Director. Who are you enrolling? Who are you getting to consultant, right? Have a big picture and a short picture. The IPAs, you guys, I'm a big fan of the 3x3x3. 3 calls a day, 3 follow-ups a day, 3 acts of service. 3 new connections, 3 follow-ups, 3 areas of love where you're pouring grace into other people. Map it out. I'm creating 2 consultants and 1 manager this month. I'm enrolling 5 people. I'm creating 4 consultants, 1 manager, and 1 director. Be clear. If you don't know where you're going, if you don't have that map, you will not move, right? The top earner formula, the Millionaire in Action formula, it's like 5 enrollments a month, right? Plus your rank advancements, your personal rank advancements, et cetera. There was a lot of times I was like, oh my gosh, I've only enrolled 3 people this month, right? When I was pushing for President's Quest. And even though I was internally motivated to get like 2 more enrollments, when I got on the phone, I was externally focused about their goals. I was listening to them, what was in it for them. But it was the things that said, you're not laying out at the pool. You're going to call enough people to get 2 more enrollments, right? You're not going to watch the Broncos today. You're going to call people until you get those 2 enrollments. You have to have it clearly laid out exactly where you're going. Your daily plan, like I said, how many people are you connecting to? How many people are you showing iSamovie to? How many 3-big calls are you doing? How many follow-ups? What amount of time are you doing to personal development? Whatever this may be, but have it clear. So many people are like, oh, I'm going to do Isogenics from 8 to 10, and then they sit down and they do nothing because they don't know what they're doing. Have a list. Who are you calling? Who are you following up with? Whatever it may be. I personally think that personal development, podcasts or whatnot, that's not your income producing stuff. That's extra. Listen to that when you're getting ready. Listen to that when you're in the car. Listen to that when you're cooking. If you have an hour a day to do Isogenics, you have to pick up the phone. And mark my words when I tell you, if you listen to any top runner share their story and how they got introduced, they will say, when so-and-so called me. Jessica Rigner just shared the most incredible journey of the why. And she said, Janny Elo called me. When you guys have heard my story, Janny Elo called me. Janny Elo did not send me a Facebook message. She called me. She knew the gift she was giving, okay? You'll hear these stories over and over. So don't say, oh, I messaged 20 people on Facebook. How many people heard your voice and heard your passion? The monthly, how many launch parties are you doing for yourself? How many are you doing for your team? How many Super Saturdays or opportunity meetings are you going to locally? How many people are you getting into IsaBody? How many people are you getting into Healthy Mind and Body? Jay Bennett did that great training, and he showed the business builder checklist that after you enroll someone, right, talking to them about getting to events, getting them into IsaBody, getting them into Healthy Mind and Body. We know our BV of the basket order increases with those programs and retention. You guys, in the Dreamers in Action group under files, it says rank advancement bonuses and follow-up sheet. You literally can put your enrollment in there, and then it's a checklist of their rank advancement dates, Crystal Manager, Crystal Director, Crystal Executive, checking off what event are they going to, checking off if they're in Healthy Mind and Body, checking off if they're in IsaBody. Use the system. Success leaves clues. If you're looking at someone who's successfully rank advanced a lot of people, use the tools and do what it takes to make sure you have retention and success with your people. If you don't get them paid, if you don't get them results, you'll have a revolving door of active and inactive people. Use the programs Isogenics has. Kathy Coover talks over and over and over, 80% of your time is prospecting, presenting, and enrolling. 20% is training. If you have fallen into management mode, your business is not growing. If people want it bad enough, they will do it. You can guide them in the right direction, but you can't do it for them. 80% of your time is always prospecting, presenting, and enrolling. Sharing Ice and Movie, sharing you plus two, them plus two, bringing new people into, the testimonials page, the opportunity pages, whatever it may be. If you have fallen into where all you're doing is managing others and helping other people, and you are not being a hot molecule in your own business, you are not adding people to your own business, you will stay stuck. If you're brand new, you're not worried about managing people. We're just enrolling. But if you're an earner on this, on this call, if you're a leader, rearrange your schedule and say for 90 days, I'm committed to bringing in XYZ new people. I don't have time to train the whole company. If they want it bad enough, isagenixbusiness.com rocks. They'll figure it out. So one of the things that I absolutely love is just understanding that you will commit and never give up, right? So just remember, what is it that will keep you moving towards your goal? What is it that fuels your light, that ignites you, that is that absolute burning desire? There has to be something inside of you, and if nothing else right now, find out what that is. Imagine, like if you really close your eyes right now, how can your life be different in 12 weeks? My very, very, very first 90-day game plan, you guys, I went from $17 to my name to just shy of a six-figure income. That is not necessarily what will happen for everybody, but if it's possible for one, it's possible for all. How bad do you want it? How hard are you willing to work, right? My next 90-day game plan, I was like, I want out of this job that exchanges me time for money. I want out of being paid $12 an hour when I have 2 master's degrees. Every single day, I would say, I'm not driving in this traffic anymore to work for these people that do not value what I do, right? That fueled me. Then it was like, I would sit there, and for those of you in Colorado, you know the turnpike from Boulder to Denver. And what fueled me was I did not want my dad having to drive through the turnpike with Parkinson's disease in the middle of the winter. And I would say, what's more hard, to call 5 people or dad to be driving in a blizzard on the turnpike with Parkinson's, right? What is it that keeps you going? You have to have something. Small or large, I mean, that's what's going to keep you going when it gets hard. That's like when it gets frustrated, when we question this, when we're getting a lot of no's, when people are judging us. Like Eric Coover says, on the front says leader, but on the back says target. And if you are not prepared for that, you will get taken out of the game. So what's inside of you is what keeps you going. So here's the deal. Weeks 1 and 2, you recruit and enroll. That's it. You're bringing in a ton of new people into the pipeline. So January 23rd, the first 2 weeks, enroll, right? Week 3 is typically we talk about launch party week. So you've brought in these people, they have a testimonial, right? And you're like, hey, have a party. Let's get your products paid for by next week. So you're taking all these people in that have a 30-second story, that have a transformation, trying to get them to have a party. And week 4, we get people paid. We try to create consultants. So in this upcoming week, January 23rd to the 29th, let's say I enroll Sarah and Lisa and Jen, right? Some of my new people. So I'm working with them. I'm getting them into IsaBody. I'm getting them into Healthy Mind and Body, right? I'm coaching them day 5, day 14. I'm talking them through a shake day, talking them through a cleanse day, right? I'm making sure they're having a great product experience. And by week 3, they're like, oh my gosh, I've already lost weight. I'm sleeping better. My pants are too big, whatever it is. And I say, let's do a tasting party. Let's share your story with your friends and family. And by week 4, they all have shared with 2 people because they have belief in the products. They want to help others, and you create consultants. And then you go back and you repeat, right? So then weeks 5 and 6, we're back to recruiting and enrolling. Week 7 is launch party week. Week 8, you create consultants again. Some of your consultants from the first month are now going manager, right? They've shared with 2 people. We're trying to get those 2 people to share with 2 new people. In the last of the 90 days, again, it's going to be weeks 9 and 10, recruit and enroll, right? Week 11, launch party week. And week 12, anybody who's in this, they're going director, they're going executive. Getting your people paid, working deep, right? If people can do you share, they share once, they can do it 8 more times. They can do it 9 more times. It's just staying on top of them like white on rice, building belief, keeping them engaged, keeping the why on the forefront of their mind, and not stopping. Not taking the foot off the gas. This is not a 10-day sprint. It's not a 30-day sprint, right? We're taking 90 days and we're blocking it into 3 30-day sprints. But it's 12 weeks. But the system doesn't change. You guys excited? I'm excited. Can you tell? I'm really excited. I love the 90-day game plan. So I'm going to get ready to tell you the goodness. And then I am actually going to stay on and just do a little bit of Q&A. So The first 30 days, you guys, I'm personally rewarding top cyclers and rank advancement. So for anybody who hits Crystal Director, Crystal Executive, or the next star, I am going to throw in additional bonuses than what Isagenix offers. So when you hit Crystal Director, there's a $750 bonus. I'm matching $100 to every single person on this team, whether I enrolled you or not. Executive, you get a $1,000 bonus from Isagenix. I'm throwing out $200. So if you hit executive, which is 10 consultants, 5 on the left, 5 on the right, you will get $1,000 from Isagenix, an extra $200 for me. And anybody who hits the next star level, golden circle, I'm going to throw out an extra $250 bonus. So if you are a 1-star and you go 2-star, you get a $2,000 bonus from Isagenix, so we'll get $250 from me. This is only for the first 30 days. This is for the first 4 weeks of the 90-day game plan. I also am throwing out cash for those that are growing their personal net cycle growth. So for February, the first 4 weeks of the 90-day game plan, excuse me, anybody who cycles between 10 and 19 times each week, I will throw out an extra $100. Anybody cycling between 20 and 39 cycles each week, I will give you an extra $200. If you go between 40 and 59 cycles, I'm throwing out an extra $400. And anybody between 60 and 100 cycles, I will throw out $500. So let's just say you cycle 10 times. That's $540 from Isagenix. I'm throwing out $100. If you do that all 4 weeks, that's an additional $400 from me. This is only through the first 30 days. So I have 2 incredible, generous promotions starting on Monday for the next 4 weeks. I'll post these in the group, but it's for those that hit director, executive, or the next star level and are growing their business 10 cycles and above. The second 30 days, those that create the most consultants, I'm still deciding exactly what this will look like, but I will be giving cash bonuses to those that create the most new consultants during that second 30 days. So weeks 5 through 8. And then I'm having corporate start a new contest, you guys. And this is going to start on the 23rd. It will go all the way through the 90-day game plan for 12 weeks. But I am going to gift 3 people, top point earners, and their significant other or guest of their choice to The Point, which is a 5-star spa and resort in Arizona. I will also I'll be paying for all 3 nights, Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. You guys will be in charge of airfare. I will be gifting either a round of golf or a massage, whatever the guy or girl may choose. And in addition to really intimate business training, you will be awarded incredibly generous swag bags, and we'll be setting up really special dates with corporate. So I'm in the process of talking about a luncheon with Kathy Coover, happy hour with Eric Coover. You guys will have an elite VIP tour at the corporate office. So that contest starts tomorrow, and it'll run through 12 weeks and plan on going in May. I'm working with Denise Wiggins on the exact dates, but it will either be the last weekend in April or the first weekend in May after the 90-day plan before it turns into a sizzling 120-degree heat in Arizona. So details to come. The corporate contest will be tracked. It will be based on enrollments, personal rank advancements of your team, and event tickets. So it's going to be super fun. I can't wait to spoil the mess out of you guys. If you've never been to The Point, look it up. I mean, the pools are amazing. The resort is amazing. The spa is amazing. You're going to get incredible training. And the swag bags and the elite time with corporate is going to absolutely change your business in 2017. So I'm going to stop this share, and I'm going to catch up on the chat because I've seen it been going off, and then stay on for just a teeny bit of Q&A before we wrap up. I just want to read this because there's like 18 posts and making sure I'm not missing anything. Kristen, yes, I always feel like I want to work when I'm with you guys. Yes, Kristen, I have the launch party kit. I don't think it's necessary. You know what I mean? Like, it comes with enrollment forms. It comes with the CD, but it's pricey. So, I mean, you can print off the enrollment forms, you know, super cheap online. I mean, just Google iStudents enrollment form, print off 20, way less expensive than actually buying the kit. The videos that come in that DVD, like I don't even own a DVD player. You know what I mean? Like I just hook my computer up to the TV and then like use like a screen share where my TV becomes the screen and play whatever video you want. You guys are talking about different things. Yes, I see New Jersey. We're going to go. Jessica, I will, if you go into our Dreamers in Action group or that fast track foursome, the Kathy Coover presentation is in there about the layout, what you're talking about of how to manage your time, that time management presentation. So it is in our group, just as Kathy Coover time management presentation. And then you guys are just excited about the contest. So we are like literally right at the top of the hour. Woo! Made it in 60 minutes. So I'm going to stick around for a few minutes. If you guys want to unmute and ask any questions or anything you want to have clarified, I'm here. Otherwise, bye, Laura. Otherwise, you know, just we start tomorrow, and I want to see your vision boards. I want to, you know, see your why. Feel free to reach out if you want help mapping anything out, you know, kind of going through what that's going to look like. But you guys are more than welcome to reach out at any time. But any questions, anything on your heart before we stop? Thank you, Heather. Any feedback, anything? There you go, Kristen. Operation Full-Time ISA 2017 on board. I love it. Anything else? Thank you, Karen. Please make sure you guys share this with your team. Get them to watch the recording. Share the contest with them. Remember what Danny says, you will only grow as much as you do to help other people. So it's the most fun when the team's in momentum and everybody is succeeding together. Everybody's hitting their goals. Everybody's absolutely crushing it. So you guys, thank you so much for your time today. I love you all. I'm so proud of you. Just remember, believe what people show you, not what they tell you. I want you to match energy for action. The people that are pulling you down and talking a big game and doing nothing do not merit your time. Work with those that are working, those that are showing up, getting on calls, getting to events, calling people, whatever it takes. Those are the ones that you run with. So I'm excited to see where you guys go with this. Make an amazing 12 weeks. I love you guys. Bye.
Thank you.